Welcome to Digital Toolbox. Today we'll begin to learn how to manipulate surfaces. And to get started, you guys should create curves in Rhino in order to loft them in Grasshopper. And once you guys are done, go to Parameters, go to Geometry, and grab a Curve button. Right click on the Curve button and click on Set Multiple Curves. And the order that you click them do matter, since that's the order that Grasshopper will loft them. Then go to Surface, go to Freeform, click on Loft, and then loft these curves together. Next, we want to divide our surface into intervals. So go to Scalar, go to Interval, and click on Divide Interval Squared. I means the base interval, which is our input, which is our surface that we want to divide. And by default, the U and V direction is 10, which means it divides our surface into 10 intervals in the U direction and the V direction. Since I want to manipulate this later, I'm going to go to Special and Parameters and grab a number slider. I'm going to edit this from floating points to integers, the upper value to be 20 and the value to be 10. I'm going to copy and paste this, and I'm going to put this into the U and V direction. The next thing we want to do is to create subsurfaces from our intervals. So to do that, we're going to go to Surface, go to Utilities, and click on Isotrim. The Isotrim lets you create subsurfaces. So S means our base surface, and then D is a domain of subset or our intervals. So I'm going to put that into D, and then I'm going to unpreview the loft. And here our subsurface is now 100 panels based on our original surface, since we defined 10 in the U and 10 in the V. So it'll give us 100 panels. Next thing we want to do is to either manipulate per panel, or manipulate the vertices of each panel, or the edge, or even the point that the panels is located on. To do that, we are going to go to Surface, go to Analysis, and then go to B-Rep Components, and then connect that to the subsurfaces. The subsurface is now broken into 100 panels individually by giving us the face of each panel, the edge of each panel, and each panel's vertices. So that's one way to manipulate the surface. Another way is to go into Surface, Utilities, and click on Divide Surface. Here by default again, the U and V is at 10. If we were to connect this right now to the subsurface, it will take each surface that it created, each one of the 100 surface, and divide that again by 10 in the U and V direction. Since we don't want that, we just want to grab the points in the corners of the surface that we created in the subsurface. So to do that, we're going to go to Parameters, go to Primitive, and grab a number from the primitive panel and set the number to 1. And then I'm going to connect this to the U and V. And then I'm going to connect the S to the subsurface. And now we have points that are located at the corners of our intervals, or our panels. And then the N means it'll give us the normal vectors at the points that we created. And then the U and V are the points in U and V terms. And you'll see why we need two of these, or different buttons for different definitions. Using the Explode button, we could create panels, or panelized surfaces. And in the Divide surface, we can create a shell structure or a diagrid structure. Also, another plus, if we go back to the beginning of our definition, if we have a surface set in Rhino and we don't have any curves, we want to be able to manipulate that surface. To do that, I'm going to clear the values of the curve, and then I'm going to loft these curves in Rhino. So now we want to be able to manipulate the new surface in Rhino. So I'm going to go to Parameters, go to Geometry, and grab Surface. Right click on Surface and set one surface. And then we don't need to loft, but we need to divide this new surface. So I'm going to press Shift and input that into the eye, and also press Shift and input that into the subsurface. And then I'm going to unpreview our preset surface. So now we have the same thing. So now we have two ways to input surfaces, either a Rhino surface or we can set a surface in Grasshopper. And that's how you begin to manipulate surfaces, and thank you for watching.